Welcome everyone to today's meeting and info session about free education in Europe. My name is Gesa Heim. I hold an MSc in Higher Education and Science Management. I am specialized in the German and European higher education sector since over 15 years. And I'm a senior expert here in the YUF team that is presenting the session to you today. I'm based in Berlin, Germany. Very hot and quite humid. We are expecting rain today. Fingers crossed that it's really coming. And I'm also very, very happy to talk to you today. So thank you very much for being here. So concerning the sessions, I'm going to talk for approximately 30 minutes. The session has 3 parts. The first is the general introduction to study in Europe and how you can use our wonderful YUF tool of the assisted mobile app to find free educational offers in Europe. And then we are going to elaborate a little bit on scholarship possibilities in case you do not only want to save the tuition fees, but also have a scholarship for the living expenses. And then in the last part, I'm going to introduce the wonderful assisted mobile app to you, including the many magical features it has. And then there will be lots of time to ask your questions. You can type them into the chat if you have some. And if you have questions later, you can always contact us via the app or via email. And what else did I want to say? Oh yeah, during my presentation, I will unfortunately not be able to answer questions because I have to concentrate on the presentation, but we can do this and we have plenty of time to do all of that after. Okay, now it is my first and most honorable pleasure and duty to tell you that it's a very, very good idea to study in Europe, especially in certain countries like Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, which are very small countries, but also others, because unlike other European countries, these countries do not distinguish between local and international students when it comes to education and tuition fees. Countries like Germany, Switzerland, Austria, but also Italy offer scholarships to students based on their financial background as well as their educational acumen. There are hundreds of different types of scholarships available with most institutions. So let's take a look at Germany first. So why should you come to study in my beautiful country in Germany? We have low or no tuition fees in our public universities, neither for domestic students nor for international students. There are hundreds of top-ranked universities in the German system and quite affordable living costs, although we have to admit that they are also rising. There are lots of study programs by now taught in English, a lot more on the master's level, but also a considerable amount on the BA level. We have great job opportunities for international students already while they study here, and also for international graduates. There are high chances of settling after completing your education. And we offer internationally recognized degrees, of course. And if you are in Germany, you're in the middle of Europe, and you can travel to all of Europe on a student visa, and you can become part of a very diverse and nice and open community if you like, and as you find it at most of the universities. So there are also good reasons to go to our beloved neighboring countries. I'll start with Austria. They offer highly specialized study programs in English language to international students, and the quality of life is really high in Austria. Austria offers a high level of social security once you get employed, and universities promote student participation in sports and recreational activities. It is known to be one of the most livable countries in Europe. And it's quite an affordable study destination. Moving to Switzerland, we have to say that it is known as the safest country in the world. It offers excellent and highly reputed study programs at quite affordable costs to international students. Although we have to say that the living expenses in Switzerland are a lot and considerably higher than in many regions in Germany and Austria. Sharing its borders with 5 other countries, it is a traveler's paradise. Swiss scientists are held in high demand all over the world, and the country has a very well-known penchant for efficiency, which is reflected in its transportation and all public access systems. The geography is as diverse as the people in this country, with nice, beautiful mountains, and everything you can do in your free time is always in a beautiful landscape and very, very nice and memorable. What we know, okay, now I told you, okay, take a look at study programs in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. We know that if you do this and try your own search, that you face many challenges. Like, how can I find the right program for me? And where and how do I submit my applications? It might be written at the university website, but the text can be very confusing, misleading, and also contradictory. What are all these documents required, and how do I get my attestations done? What are the next steps to take before I can actually start to study abroad? What kind of questions will I be asked in the visa interview? I have to apply for this visa, and I really don't know what these guys are all about and what they want to know. And many, many, many other questions. The good news is that we can actually assist you. Who we are? The Assisted team is a professional recruitment and higher education consulting team with years of experience in recruitment for the European and worldwide higher education sector. We have experience not just in recruitment, but also in visa processing, accommodation assistance, and scholarship consulting. Committed to providing you assistance from start to end in every aspect of your university admission. Application submission, coordination of the application process with the university, visa support procedures, accommodation search, projects during your studies, this is how far we go and accompany you, and a lot of other services. Now, how do we do this? And what makes us special? We developed what we call the perfect triangle: predict, support, succeed. We predict the admission probability with our unique artificial intelligence-based app Assisted, relying on data from previously admitted students and 500 plus universities. We support you with personal guidance by our expert team through the jungle of application to universities that offer scholarships and free education. Because as they do not charge tuition fees, these universities do not have the support structures that universities in countries like the UK might have that have to recruit fee-paying students. So the university I'm talking about are very, very good, but their services for admissions are often confusing and not very clear. So this is the gap we would like to close, and this is where we would like to start to help you to succeed and enroll in one of Europe's excellent academic environments and benefit from high-quality higher education with accredited world-class universities, top-quality living conditions, and very, very positive prospects for your future career and life. Now, let me tell you a little bit more in detail how this perfect triangle works. We predict, and actually not like in the picture from a glass ball, but we predict with AI evidence. We take information from past data in our vast database and compare your profile, your academic profile, with the variables of the university admission criteria to find a match which helps us to predict your admission chances to these universities with ease. Because this is the difficult thing. These universities might not charge tuition fees, but admission can be tricky and difficult. YUF structures the available information for you in clear lists where you can easily get an overview, compare, mark and manage your favorite options, and directly ask us to assist you with your application. In a second step, we suggest options to you with a high individual chance of admission to a university that exactly matches your profile and your demands and needs. No other platform, and this is guaranteed, is trying to do this or is even able to do this and to offer this service to you. So this is really the key part, right? Our AI-powered system ensures that you find the probability of admission to your chosen universities with minimum efforts. Always keeping in mind that we talk about universities that do not charge tuition fees for the studies there. You get access to our panel of assisted experts to provide end-to-end support for all your application activities. You don't miss out on important deadlines, information, or know-how relevant to your admission process, which is very, very, very important, because deadlines can mean if you miss them, or if you handle in your paper application or your online application in an incomplete way, that you have to wait 1 year for the next intake in order to get one of these really good study spots at one of these really good universities. If you succeed together with us, you get admission to at least one, maybe even more, of your top choice universities. If you get admission to one, you take it if you like. If you get admission to more than one, you decide, of course, we can help you with the decision making. Then we don't leave you alone with what comes next. We offer you visa support, activities like visa submission documents, preparing you for the interview questions, and so on. And we assist you in getting all the information you need on accommodation facilities in the host country, because this is, as we know, a very, very burning issue for all the international students who go abroad. And it doesn't stop there. We even help you find quality project and internship opportunities with top institutions and companies in Europe. How we do this, I will follow up on this later during my presentation. If you like, you become part of our network once you're admitted, and you consult fellow students about your key to success. You keep in touch with us and become part of the community. I'll wrap up this relatively easy to understand process that we offer you with YUF and with the YUF feature of the Assisted Mobile app. You download the app and choose the YUF feature and choose your country in the search engine and choose your courses like biochemistry or whatever you want to study, and then try to predict your admission probability. Then you make the decision until here, and with the admission probability, the use of the tool is completely free of charge, right? You make the decision whether then you want to apply with our help, or you want to get out of the system, you found your information and you want to go through the application and admission process yourself. If you choose to stay with us, then you apply via YUF, we help you with the application and we help you to get this admission. And you can use opt-in, opt-out, our service to prepare your study visa. You can use our accommodation service, and you can also become part of our attractive student network. So that's it about the basic functions of the tool. Let me have one sip of my nice drink here, and then we'll start with scholarships and free education in Germany and other countries. So, concerning scholarships. Depending on the criteria applicable, European universities are known to offer scholarships that include not just the tuition fees, which is the case in the many countries that I introduced to you now, but sometimes even accommodation or other expenses. Some of the most commonly seen scholarships that you could look for include starter scholarships, for example, for first years, academic scholarships if you have special merits, public funding, that is rather support for the needy, governmental scholarships that are given to international students from particular countries, for example. They can be scholarships for the living expenses, social grants, but also other fee waivers. Erasmus scholarships if you want to move from one country to the other within Europe and study one semester abroad, let's say, from one university to the other, and many other options. Then, of course, if you want to finance your study, you have the opportunity or the possibility to take a student loan. If, for example, you have a part of the money from your parents or family or from your savings, you have a partial scholarship, then it might be useful to have a student loan. Many government-funded and non-government-funded loan resources offer loans which are often with zero or very low interest rates to students looking for financial support for their international higher education. Even universities in Germany and Europe have established their very own student loan schemes to promote and support foreign students to study abroad. Some of the things you should keep in mind when planning for a student loan include: the student loan schemes are often limited and may not cover all your study and living costs. If it's a public scheme, it might not charge interest. However, there may be many limitations on the time duration of the payback. So make sure you get the details upfront on those terms. Non-government resources might have low interest rates, but might have limitations to the amount you can borrow. In short, student loan schemes can be your complementary fund, and you may need to find other sources to cover the remaining costs of your study abroad, to make sure to do a thorough check on terms and conditions before you get started. That was just a small excursion, because everyone who relies completely on scholarships knows that it's difficult to guarantee. So this might be another, as we say, extra complementary possibility. So scholarships in Germany, how is the situation? It is hard to rely on scholarships, but they will certainly add a great amount of money in your budget to cover your living expenses while studying in Germany if you manage to get one. And since there's a wide variety of them, it is highly suggested that you go and seek one. For example, the Deutschlandstipendium, which is the typical academic merit-based starter scholarship where you can apply at your university once you are admitted. So you can't apply there prior to your enrollment. There are DAD scholarships, and I'm going to say a lot more about the DAD, or a bit more, let's say, about the DAD on my next slide. Privately funded scholarships, and what I mentioned, the Erasmus Plus scheme. If you study in Germany and, for example, want to do one semester abroad in Austria or in Belgium or in France. Then there are some foundations, and they play actually a very important role in the scholarship scene of Germany, that award scholarships to international students. There's Friedrich Ebert Foundation Scholarship, Heinrich Böll Foundation Scholarship, or Hans Böckler Foundation Scholarship. These talent-promoting institutions, they normally have a special purpose or a special, let's say, focus of students. For example, Hans Böckler is a foundation that focuses on first-generation academics, while, for example, Hans Böll is the foundation of the Green Party. So they focus on financing students or funding students who have sustainability topics on their mind and so on. All of these foundations are fine, even if they have affiliations with political parties. It's not a big deal, and you won't have any disadvantages from that. The German Academic Exchange Service is certainly the biggest player when it comes to scholarships for international students in Germany. It's a very large organization whose mission is to promote the internationalization of German universities by creating countless and funding and counseling opportunities for inbound and outbound talented students in Germany. Since they came into existence already almost 100 years ago, millions of foreign students have benefited from the DAD services. Today, they have a rich list of available scholarships for international students. And with DAD, if you ask me, for example, how the chances are to get a scholarship, always the following is true. Let me check whether I have this on. Oh, unfortunately, I missed that slide. Anyway, it's always important to consider that they have special scholarships for countries of countries of origin, sometimes for subjects like engineering and so on, and also depending on your level of qualification. So you almost find no bachelor scholarships, but you find scholarships for the master's level. So we also move to France, because this might also be a destination that you consider for your studies, just that you have heard that there are also possibilities to study for free. And it has become, and also, of course, to study for tuition fees. It has become a very popular study destination for international students. However, study and living costs in France are not always affordable. Through annual tuition fees at public universities is low, it could get as high as 10,000 euro at private universities. Living cost is around 10,000 euro a year. Unfortunately, a number of French scholarships for international students are being offered. For example, the Eiffel Excellence Scholarship, the École Normale Supérieure International Selection, the Ampère Scholarships of Excellence at the ENS de Lyon, which are university-bound, of course, and many other schemes. So if you look to study in France and identify a study offer in France where you would like to go, you also have multiple opportunities to get scholarships. We decided also to include Scandinavia in this presentation. There are scholarships provided by the Swedish Institute dedicated to international students applying to master degree programs. Scholarships offered through the Visby program is the partnership between Sweden and Eastern European countries. Awards are offered to students who apply to programs focusing on subject areas related to sustainability, innovation, and corporate social responsibility. Scholarships are also offered by individual universities. Each institution is free to decide the amount, duration, and admission criteria for the scholarships. Country-specific scholarships are offered to international students from certain countries. Funds come from universities, independent foundations, and other types of organizations. Then last but not least, the last countries where I'm going to introduce scholarships to you is the Finnish government and EU scholarships for international students. They participate in the Erasmus Mundus scholarship program of the European Union in Finland, where Finnish universities participate in a number of study programs that are funded by the EU. They are usually highly competitive study programs that are organized between 3 different universities in Europe, so quite specialized, but maybe an interesting option for you. And also the big universities in Finland, like Aalto and University of Helsinki, offer scholarships for non-EU EEA, so international citizens in these programs. The scholarships normally will be allocated in order of merit, as well as at the University of Helsinki. So now maybe a few general words before I introduce the functions of the assisted mobile app to you. If you apply for scholarships, you have to consider that it's always 2 applications. 1 application for the university and 1 application to the scholarship. In very few cases, it might be just 1 application. You also have to consider that the deadline for the scholarship application might be before the deadline of the admission to the university, to the application. So my message is always 2 applications, at least. I mean, if you apply to more universities or more scholarships, then it's more. University admission, 1 application, scholarship, 1 application. Be in time, be complete in your applications, and also consider that the more academic merits you have, the easier it is to get a scholarship. That's why organizations usually do not fund BA students, because they want to see the BA performance of the individual person before saying, oh yeah, this is indeed an academic talent, we want to fund this person. Yeah, if you have more questions about scholarship applications and so on, we can answer your individual questions right after the session. So these are my last few slides, just a second. Getting started and how to manage the study program of your choice in Europe. So you download the Assisted mobile app, a lot more than just another student app. The app users, here you find our magical triangle again, are students, experts, and universities. Students looking to study overseas for the higher education can use the app for searching and applying to top universities, getting virtual counseling, participate in discussion forums, get information and support for visa processing projects and accommodation. Educational experts can get access to an active student community and guide them for higher education needs. They can even conduct online counseling and events to promote their services or participate in forum discussions and more. Educators can register their universities here and promote their study programs to a diversified student community. They can post news and events on upcoming programs or new accreditations received to attract more students to their institute, and even more with the assisted mobile app. The process flow, if you download the app, is quite easy, and as I said, it doesn't cost you anything. It begins to cost you at a later point of time when you decide to apply via us, but the search for a suitable university is completely free of charge. You download the app, which is available both for iOS and Android. You create an attractive profile, but of course honest, right? Because you need documents and attestations and certificates for every single academic merit you have. So an academic profile with all your information, which will support your search and enable us to find the best matching study programs for you. You can search through a wide range of university options using multiple filters to find your best choice. You can join virtual events, buy the universities, for example, read up on news articles and search for good housing options, or also book an appointment for counseling online and share the app with your mates if you like, or if you want to go together with a friend to Germany, to Austria, to wherever. This is a nice possibility. Our search engine is very great. It helps you. I mean, if you look for studies only in Germany, you might find other search engines. But if you want to compare universities with each other beyond borders, according to admission criteria, this is the only way how you can do it, right? You won't find any other search engine that enables you to do this. You can get all the details of the university and in the same format, not in the 10,000 different formats that university websites usually are. You can filter your search based on country, study programs, tuition fees, and what people always ask me, yes, you can also filter according to the English language requirement, whether they require an IELTS or not. And if you're confused between two or more schools, you can simply use the compare feature to evaluate them on different parameters to choose the best. The university details will contain everything from the date of inception of the university to the program list, campuses, ranking, and more in a structured and comparable layout than you'd find it anywhere else. You can explore our events, as I said, our housing and accommodation, and a very, very important point that I wanted to make, with the assisted mobile app, you get to explore the Europe #1 internship portal, Praxis. With this portal, you find projects and internships during your studies, an exposure to an international work environment, an opportunity to build a global career profile, and much more. So we connect you to this portal, and in the moment where you get admission to your university, this is what you can use, and this is what helps you to find the perfect project or internship, right? We can also connect you, of course, to a real-life agent who is in your area, because we have a wide network, so you don't need to rely on online counseling only. If you feel better, or maybe your parents feel better, to go to a physical educational consultant, please do so. We are very happy to connect you to one. But we believe that with a drastic increase in online services, it's now essential to have virtual options for communication in higher education. And also the universities, I believe, have switched and do more online consultation, but particularly the universities who do not charge tuition fees might not have the time and the offer to consult every single applicant so thoroughly. So this is really a unique selling point that we have, and something that you can find only with us. Exactly. With the assistant expert feature, you get the opportunity to connect with an international education expert with many years of experience and knowledge in the European higher education sector, who can guide you in each and every aspect of your admission process. Actually, of your selection and admission process, I must say. Okay, I have talked in the semi-session about scholarships already. So if you download the app and register and apply and submit your application, you have the possibility to get in touch with the backend experts who help you to identify application possibilities for scholarships. Scholarships, as I said, in form of full or partial tuition fee waivers are the most common international scholarships offered by universities and are usually in the academic category. Tuition fee scholarships are the next best thing to fully funded scholarships in a sense that a good portion of your study cost is already covered. With the assisted mobile app, you can browse through the wide range of scholarship options available for different countries and locate the option that best suits your profile. Additionally, you can choose to talk to our assisted expert who are fully equipped to guide you through the process. And I would always recommend you to do that because our scholarship feature is already good, but it's not perfect. So in order not to miss out on certain scholarship possibilities, I'd always recommend you to contact the expert on the backend panel. Ah, no, sorry. Haha, missed some slides. Missed the accommodation slide. Because accommodation is after you get admission, I think the most burning question next to the visa question, but I'll do that in a second. And we found a good solution for you to solve this question. With the assisted mobile app, we eliminate the need for you to browse for hours, and instead we bring unlimited housing options at your fingertips. Get details of the apartments with price, dimension, contact information, and pictures. There again, you find the magical triangle. If you're an accommodation provider or a university or a student, you can easily post your housing information. Then you share your information with some good images. And as a student, if you look for accommodation, you can also contact our experts to help you with the consulting. Because you might find out that the cities are very big and you don't know whether this accommodation is really close to campus, on which campus you're going to study. You don't want to live next to a campus where actually your lectures do not take place. So there are many, many small aspects to consider, and our experts have a lot of experience and can answer actually most of your questions. Visa issues are, of course, also key issues, I must say. Whether for higher education or internships, the assisted mobile app offers services to all your visa-related requirements from A to Z. Get all the information from visa procedures to documents, interviews, and more, and talk to our experts virtually and get step-by-step assistance. One thing I always mention at this part of the presentation, if I hold it, is that in order to get a visa, you have to have an invitation. We cannot produce invitations, of course. You need an admission or like a work contract for an internship or something like that, a basis on which you can apply or are entitled to apply for a visa. Once you have this basis, we can help you, but we can do a lot, but we cannot do magic, so we can't produce visa invitations. Okay, then my almost final slide to close the circle to the Your Unifinder feature that I mentioned in the beginning. Your Unifinder offers an artificial intelligence-powered system that ensures that you do not wonder about the possibilities of admission, but get a definite picture as to which specific universities you are eligible and how you can proceed with the admission process. Predict. We analyze the data of next to 500 higher education institutions to predict to which universities you are likely to be admitted with your personal qualification record. YUF supports you throughout the application process and makes sure that your application reaches the university of your choice in a top form and in time. Succeed and with YUF enroll in one of Europe's excellent academic environments and benefit from high-quality higher education, living conditions, and very, very positive prospects on your future career and life. This is where you can find us if you didn't manage or couldn't or didn't want to download the app during my talk. And of course, you can also find email addresses there. You can write to the team. if for some technical reasons you can't download the app, which sometimes happens, you can always contact the team via email and also get, let's say, online access to via our website and so on to the features. So it's easier and more practical and makes more sense via the app, but you can also find us outside the world of the app. Okay, thank you very much. This is what I wanted to say. Download the assisted mobile app. I hope I convinced you. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to download it. It doesn't cost you anything to use it and to see whether it's practical. So now is the time for you, ladies and gentlemen, to ask all of your questions. I've talked a lot, 5 minutes more than I promised. I wanted to say, yeah, I can answer a lot of questions, but if they are very, very much individual or very detailed about the subject combinations or application to special subject fields or universities, I might transfer the question to my team, or let's say ask you to write an email to us and ask it again, because we would sometimes prefer to do some research instead of giving you an uneven or not so true answer and just guessing. Okay, but in general, I think I'm prepared to answer a lot of your questions. So go ahead, we have 15 minutes to go, I guess. Sorry. So we have the first question already. Will the scholarship cover the living expenses also for the master's degree? It depends on the scholarship, right? If you apply to the DAD, for example, to an annual scholarship, and you are planning to do a master's, it will cover the whole period of the master's if you study it in 2 years' time. If you extend it to 3 years, I don't know what will happen and whether you will be able to extend it. But normally, depending on the scholarship, right? If you, for example, in Germany get a Deutschlandstipendium, it won't cover all the costs because the Deutschlandstipendium is only 300 euros a month. So then you would have to find the rest of the expenses or the money from other sources. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, any more questions? You don't have to. I don't want to force you. I just want to tell you that this is a good opportunity to ask everything about study abroad that you always wanted to know, actually. How the scholarship for the master started? They have application deadlines. So as you know that in most of the countries, the academic year begins in August or September. It's clear now that for the running academic year, everything has been said and done. So with every aspect, we are looking for applications for the academic year 23-24. So if you plan to start your studies next September, so September 2023, this is the time to prepare you. So you are perfectly right to prepare now, because this whole process takes a good year, right? So you are just in time, because application deadlines will begin in February, March, and then go through August. DAD application deadlines are quite early. They can be as early as May. And application to universities can be as late as August. or July, middle of July in Germany. So you will have to apply for a scholarship a lot earlier than you have to apply for admission to a university. And maybe just not to have misunderstandings, right? It's not us having the scholarships, it's us helping you apply to the scholarships. And the scholarships, by the way, start individually. So if your studies start in October, they are paid from October. They don't have, let's say, a fixed starting point for everyone, because some people might not get a visa and start their stay later, then they get their scholarship only 1 month later. It's upon arrival to the host university. Without a scholarship, is the university actually all low budget or almost free? Thank you for the question, Elias. The German higher education institutions, public institutions, and they are almost all public in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland, do not charge tuition fees from national and international students. You might have, for example, here in Berlin, universities charge like 320 euros per semester for half a year, but there you get a public transport system ticket, and it's for the social fees of the Student Welfare Association. But if you take that you pay 320 euros for a 6-month public transportation ticket, you can say that you already got the cost. So actually, you find a lot of universities in the middle of Europe that do not charge any tuition. Yes. It depends on the program on the scholarship that you get. So if you get a DAD annual scholarship and you do a master's, you will have to not to reapply, you will get it granted for 2 years. But after 1 year, you will handle in, for example, your transcript and proof that you make a study progress. The Deutschlandstipendium, for example, is granted also for 2 years, and then there is a control whether you make progress or not. Normally, if you perform, the scholarships will be paid for the whole period. The only problem is if you don't perform academically or get sick or drop out of the system and things like that. Yeah. Public universities are in English. Well, they do offer a lot of programs taught in English. If you use our search engine, you will find that you can put the language of instruction and then filter very well where you find English education. There are not many offers on BA level, but there are some. And there are many, many offers on master's level. Is there a pathway program for students who want to do medicine? Oh yeah, there are pathway programs for future medicine students. I would like to encourage you to write an email to the team because this is a special, let's say, application procedure, and we have a lot of material and information on pathway programs for medicine. So you're exactly at the right address. Just write to the team and they'll provide you with a lot of information. You're welcome. Anyone, any more questions out there? So I'll give you another 3 minutes to come up with more questions if you have some, but you're really welcome to do so. Okay, I think we'll wait another 2 minutes. Then we have the full 50 minutes done. Okay, there are more questions. This is, will the university provide accommodation? In the countries that I described that do not offer tuition fees, it is organized like that. The universities do not own their student dorms. The student dorms are owned and administered by the state in institution of the so-called Student Welfare Association. So the Student Welfare Association administrates the cafeterias, the dorms, the student loans, and many, many other things. They have consultancy services for students who have disabilities, who have learning problems, and so on and so forth. So it's a big, big organization. In every university or University of Applied Sciences city in Germany, you find the Student Welfare Association, and they provide the dorm rooms. So to get a dorm room is just another application procedure. And in Germany, I think maybe 15 to 20% of the students live in student dorms. In some cities it's more, in some cities it's less. In Berlin it's a lot less. But it's very common for students to live in shared flats together, to live in private dorms, to live in regular one-room, small apartments that are often supported by the state. So student accommodation in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland is really not only student dorms. It's not like in the Anglo-Saxon system where, for example, everyone has to live on campus during the first year or sophomore year or things like that. Good question. Thank you very much. A system for accommodation that saves rent. Oh, Elias, if we had one, we'd all go for it, right? Well, the student dorms offered by the Student Welfare Association are by far the cheapest options, I'd say. This has changed because living expenses in Germany in many, many towns raised. But well, other than that, you can always try to find a flat on a private market and share it with a lot of people, right? The more people you put into one room, the easier it gets or the cheaper it gets. But actually, they're just the general access systems. There's no special secret that I could provide you with for accommodation. Sorry. Okay. One more question? Okay. If there is no more questions, then thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening, for your questions, for your active participation. I keep my fingers crossed that all of you find a suitable study program, that many of you succeed in finding a scholarship to study in Europe, hopefully free of charge, hopefully financed, hopefully qualify yourself very well. That's it for today. If you have questions, you should know how to contact us, and I'll ask my support team to play the final video. Thank you very much and goodbye. All the best for you.